Kezdődjék akkor el a második beszélgetés. Ennek az a munkacíme, hogy Nők a munkahelyen. Engedjék meg, hogy először bemutassam az előadókat. Jó Kinga, az Európai Gazdasági és Szociális Bizottság tagja, a Nagycsaládosok Egyesülete alelnöke. Alexandra Janusevics, családszociológus, ide van írva a lengyel neve a szervezetnek, angolul úgy hangzik, hogy Large Family Association, és a nevében még a 3-nál több, tehát a G plusz vagy plusz is benne van. Lengyel Nagycsaládosok Egyesülete segélyvonalának koordinátora, és Hajós Katalina, Women in Leadership szakértője, a legjobb női munkahely pályázat bírálóbizottság tagja, az MNKS képviseletében. És akkor kérem Jó Kingát, hogy tartsa meg az előadását. Kinga angolul fog beszélni.
Köszönöm szépen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very nice introduction and for being here, and of course for the invitation to Andrea. It is always a pleasure for me to come and to participate at the event organized by Andrea Ferenci, the president of the Women's Career Association. I've brought to you a short presentation, and it is focusing on some trends that we can see globally and on European level. But before turning into this quite serious-looking presentation, I would like to give a sort of a personal touch, as it was before done by some of the speakers. I don't have to introduce you the Large Families Association that I'm vice president of, because there was an excellent presentation by our policy officer, Katalin Balla. But as for this European committee, that is an advisory body of many EU institutions like the European Parliament and the European Commission, I will tell you 3 sentences so that you know more or less what it is doing. It is the voice of the so-called organized civil society. That means business organizations, employer side, employees, that is trade unions are represented, and there is also a third sector or a third group of people sitting in this committee, and this is civil society and other interests. And I am one of the members sitting here on behalf of the Large Families Association. It was one of the keynote speakers spoke about feminism. I think it's natural to be a feminist in the good sense of the word when somebody is active and is working on a career. But in the European Union and in the EU institutions, I am not saying anything big if I say I am a feminist. I always have to add, I am a feminist, but I'm also a believer in family, in the traditional unit of society, so I am a feminist and a familist. And I do have to tell you that this is, in our region, it sounds very natural. But in some parts of Europe already, it is already something strange when I advocate for families. And I will just tell you 2 very short examples so that you more or less know what I'm speaking about. In the official EU documents, and I will list one of them, this is the Work-Life Balance Directive, this will come at the end of my presentation. The document speaks about pregnant workers. Pregnant workers, of course, this is a legal term, and we use it sometimes, but I am not afraid to use expectant mothers, the term mother. And some people are afraid to use the word mother in official discourse on European level. I think this is not a very good tendency in our days. Second very short example. We speak about early childhood education, placement in nursery schools, and so on. Then there is a target of the European Union, which is called the Barcelona target, that 30% of children below the age of 3 should be in institutions. Of course, it can be a good target when we see the employment rate in some countries, or the female employment rate. But then when I question, okay, but can we make a difference? Children below the age of 3, good. But do we really need to count from the age of 0 because I don't really see the necessity of children being from the age of 0 for 4 months, 6 months in these institutions. But of course we can speak about from the age of 1, 2, and so on. But this is not very popular. Here it might be, I don't know, you tell me later. But when I am officially in institutions, this is not very popular, but I'm usually saying. So as for the presentation, I brought you, because in the introduction of Erika, our moderator, she was speaking about how different this year is from other years and what type of challenges we are facing now as women, as families. And I just brought you 2 quotes, and it also refers to the presentations that we already seen before. So this is basically about the role of women and the COVID-19 response. You see that they make up more than 70% of total workforce in the health and social work sectors. And the share of women, especially in our region, in Central and Eastern Europe, it is even more. It is above 81%. So women are really affected in all senses, but especially in this sense that they are the ones who work in the health and the social sector. And then this other quote, or this other more or less data from ILO, it is about the unpaid care work that women are doing. And it is still very, very high when we compare it to men and how much unpaid care they are taking up. And there is a tendency, according to ILO, that this will even get the difference, the gap between men and women doing unpaid care, it's growing instead of smothering or getting smaller. But on the other hand, this is also a quote from UN. This is the Development and Economic and Social Affairs Committee that said that the focus of families in people's lives and national economics is growing with this pandemic. So how can a positive reply to the negative tendencies, what can be one of the positive replies and reactions? And this can be traced back to families I was speaking about. And with very small letters, I just put this phrase that was used by our association, and it's that well-functioning families are basically the immune system of society. It was developed by our association, and it was so popular that it was picked up later in different EU newspapers, news outlets. Even it was on Twitter retweeted like 50 times. I don't have an active account, so people who are using Twitter told me. And I think this is a good sign that people are really turning back to the importance of families. So now a little bit about the trends. We have already spoken about that, so I will just very quickly go through, of course, demographic challenges. This is one of the key problems of nowadays Europe. But I want to emphasize that there are winners and losers also inside Europe. We shouldn't forget about that. I have a nice graph, but I don't have it here in the presentation, that our countries, the V4 countries, are among the losers in this sense. But many of the EU countries are facing huge population growth, actually, by 2020 or 2080, mainly due to migration and longevity. So there has to be a differentiation between the countries. About the supply of affordable and quality places in care services, I just want to emphasize that it is not anymore only early childhood education or kindergartens, so not focusing only on child care, but also on care services that are provided for the elderly people, for example, or for sick family members and so on. So not to focus really only on children, small children. For the Silver Revolution, I'm sure you all know what we are speaking about, and the internet generational approach. Maybe we will have some opportunity to speak about that later. And I really find it very important for this regional cooperation of civil society organizations. I brought only this data, and I will go through it very quickly so that I'm not consuming more of your time, but I think this is really important, and this data hasn't been shown earlier. This is about the impact of parenthood on employment of men and women. It is referred to as motherhood penalty, but fatherhood bonus. Because, as you see, and mainly in our countries, mothers with children below the age of 6 tend to work less, much less than women in other countries. But in all countries, men with children below the age of 6, and even if they have more children, then this is even more so true, they tend to be more in employment or work more, and in higher positions also. But this is, of course, more complicated. So I just thought it was an interesting data and the source of a lot of for discussion. And about the Work-Life Balance Directive, and this is my last slide for you, we do have to speak about the Work-Life Balance Directive because this is entering into force in 2022. It is signed by all member states of the EU, and it has 4 provisions that are more or less new to many of the countries. And here you can find, I listed these 4 provisions. I think we can maybe later on discuss about that, but I would once again recall from the employer's side, from the employee's side, but also women who are working normal and civil society, that we need to take into account that this is coming into force and we need to adapt to these regulations. Thank you very much for your attention.
Szépen, Kiki a saját mikrofonjával. Nagyon szépen köszönöm Jó Kinga nagyon izgalmas előadását, ismét sokat tanultunk, és egészen döbbenetes, amikor az ember látja a tendenciákat és adatokat, és szembesíti a maga hétköznapi gyakorlatával, van még tennivaló. A hölgyeket, akik kinülnek, arra kérem, hogy egy picit türelemmel legyenek, mert ha jól látom, akkor a cseh asztalnál esemény van. Ha nem tévedek nagyot, akkor a nagykövet úr érkezett meg. Andrea, nagykövet úr? Kihívhatom? Megvár minket? Köszönjük az udvariasságot, köszönjük szépen, nagykövet úr. Akkor menjünk tovább a következő résztvevővel. Egyszer már végigmondtam, de mivel nagy rajongója vagyok a lengyel nyelvnek és a kiejtési szabályainak, még komolyan mondom, még egyszer nekifutok. Alexandra Janusevics következik, családszociológus.
The way of life you choose gonna be good for you because it's your choice with that you consider your needs and your family needs. Here, I don't know if you guess how many kids we are having together on this photo. Anyone have any idea? So it's 54 kids. These women are raising 57 kids. So we have average fertility rate of Congo. So this is little Polish Africa here. Why I'm saying this? Because these women are raising boys and girls who are going to be taxpayers, who are going to have their companies, they're going to go to their professional life. That's the example how the family is important in work-life balance, but also in business life and in economy. Yeah, because in our hands, parents and mothers, here are the mothers, but also parents, in our hands, the way we bringing our child is the way they're going to perform in their life. And it's depend if they're going to be happy life and yeah. Work-life balance perspective of psychotherapeutic practice. I'm coordinator of the telephone line, helpline in 3+, but I also psychotherapeutic practitioner. And I'm so happy for you that you mention it, because my conclusions are the same. how the individual ability to regulate, communicate, and satisfy the need is helping in work-life balance. From the there are three perspectives I want to talk about. This personal perspective, of course, all humans have physical needs, intellectual needs, emotional needs, but I want to stay a bit more with this emotional needs. Need to belong. It's very important that we are committed to our that we belong to our family, our friends group, our society, that we mean something and feel significant, yes? This is very, very important. Two needs, emotional needs, which are basic for all human beings. And those needs make people life being fulfilled. Relationship perspective, this flexibility we have, because when we talk about work-life balance, there is a man and woman, and they need to negotiate, yeah, what's gonna happen after maternity leave we're finished. Yes, we are very lucky in Poland that we have this maternity leave for 1 year, and it's like 80% paid. But after 1 year, there's a big decision: is my child gonna go to kindergarten or nursery, or we gonna share the time with the baby at home? So the flexibility is this relationship perspective, and it's negotiable, and it's exactly what Honorata say, is how to learn kids, even from school, kindergarten, how to talk about needs and how to negotiate things in relationship that both partners are satisfied, yes, and the kid, because if there's one kid, if there's many, there's like many people to get satisfied and answer to their needs. Openness, yes, that we are open to the other person needs. It's also very important when we consider relationship perspective of work-life balance. And responsibility, yes, I consider it mostly on kids matter, yes, because we as a parent are responsible for the child need, the personal need of the child, relationship needs of the child, and the social perspective of needs of the child, yes, of kids. And this third social perspective is equally important. We can see, and our association experience show that supporting groups, like you find your circle of friends, people around you, your family who support you in your life, that's something that make you help go through all kind of crises. When you have it, when you know how to build it, and again, we are not learning how to maintain our relationship. So this is it's not so obvious that the people know how to do that. People in crisis, all kind of crisis, fight with them better if they have the people who supports them. And the local community, it's a bit wider, how our local governments is supporting us with the programs, local programs, because we cannot compare south and north of Poland. Yeah, you can see how even in your countries the regions are different, and the people there have a different needs. And of course, state supports, the state support programs like maternity leave or housing program and etc. You already said lots about it. Here is my second son. Why I show this photo? Because when we see the work-life balance in the long term, this is the guy who gonna, in 20 years, gonna help some woman to make her, I hope, make her work-life balance, yes. And he probably gonna have kids, and he gonna learn them how to communicate with the needs, how to be responsible in life. So that's why education is really basic. And when we talk about fulfilled child living and well-being, responsible in harmony with himself and others, This is what I learn in my private practice as a psychotherapist, that the people have no learned how to be responsible for their needs. And that's why they're frustrated. That's why they burn out in the all kind of fields, in the family life, in a professional life. So very important in long-term perspective, work-life balance is to invest in families as a source of babies and people who taking care of them, and also in schools. Yes, we are not learning the skills which are the basic skills. We learn math, we learn languages, but we are not learned at schools how to maintain the harmony in life. So the crucial things are bonding, and this is the question. I'm happy that Kinga mentioned this problem about the little kids being in the nurseries. Bonding, from the psychological point of view, first 3 years are crucial for the child development, and all kind of psychological problems could start in this early age, and they are really difficult to fix them after. So bonding, so that the child have a stable bond with mother and father. Of course, mother first, because breastfeeding also is the part of it. The second thing is helping children experiencing and accepting their emotions. We are also not learned from that. We also wasn't learned that, how to accept, experience the emotions. So that's a big thing, that when we want to have responsible mothers and fathers in the futures, when we want to have responsible workers and CEOs who are stable in their work, also from the psychological point of view, learning kids how to experience and accepting their emotion is basic for that. Showing that mistakes are opportunity to learn. That's the very important things, that mistakes, it's not something wrong has happened. It's something that we can learn from. It's also basic. Kids are afraid of making a mistakes. No, mistakes are things that we are learning from. That's the other thing that help to child to be well-being in the future. And being an example, respect for others, cooperation, self-care and communication. These are things that make us good people, good workers, efficient workers, because communication, of course, when we're thinking about factories, maybe not, because there are machines and so on, but like huge part of our market is based on communication, yes? When we have some goals, and we are not communicate well, it's really difficult to achieve it, yes? So the way we talk to our kids is crucial to learn them how to communicate. Self-care, how possibly we can learn our kids to not have a suicidal thoughts, or to have balance in their life, because kids also have some balance, yes, physically, mentally, emotionally. How they can learn it from us if we are not having this emotional, physical, and balance, yes. If you are giving a lot, if you in your work, if you give a lot in your family, you give everywhere. If you don't charge somewhere, then you will burn out, yes? So taking care of your needs. We are, in our large family association, we have the joke. When normally people talking about the private life, they mean family life. When you have a big family, you need to consider your private life as your private life, because family time is a family time, yes? And private life is a private life. It's the place you charge, you don't give. not because you're egoistic, because maybe our grandmothers say, yeah, no, we cannot focus on you because you're going to be seen as an egoistic person. No, thinking about the needs is the thing that helps to give more in a workplace and also in family. Yeah. So, and cooperation, where are we going to learn that the family is the best place to learn cooperation. And cooperation is also the basis of sufficient workplace, yes? The cooperation is a basis everywhere, actually. So prevention, how to support work-life balance in the wide and long-term perspective. It's a personal development, relationship, so this negotiation, and the family, so investing in family. There's a Harvard very exceptional research that shows it's exceptional because it's very long term. It's 75 years old long. There are a group of men follow for whole of their life and asked every year or every few years what is and now they are like most of them still alive and they are like 80s or 90s. They were asked what is the most important thing in their life from the perspective from their perspective, and not money, not the success, but healthy and deep relationship with friends and family. That's what most of the men respond for this question, and. If you are interested, I can link you this Harvard research. It's really interesting. And in the social matter, programs supporting females in the pregnancy period. Work-life balance starts in the pregnancy. The way the woman is supported by the partner, by healthy departments, how the labors look like, can influence her motherhood, can influence her relationship. So that's really important to take care and create programs to support females in the pregnancy period, before and after. It's also very important when we want to prevent depression, which is start to be more common for women who give a birth, and it's have an impact on the bonding. And if we, as I said in the beginning, bonding is the thing that is crucial for a kid. If mom is depressed and she have no support, probably the bond gonna be weaker. And the child's going to have a problem in the future with self-esteem, with depression probably, and so on and so on. Local family support centers, these are very good things, not only for when you have a problem, you can go there. The prevention is crucial. I'm thinking about mother-to-mother supporting group, that the mothers are not feeling, especially in this first period, which is from the physical point of view, and having first child is a big difference in the life, and sometimes it's overwhelming. It's good to have support of other women who are experiencing the same, and it's so cheap. I mean, there's lots of programs, state programs, which are very expensive. Having mother-to-mother family support centers, it's actually almost free. Only they need is a place to meet, and it's also very good for. It's good for everything, actually. And education, it's what Honorata said. Education is a basis. how we learn our kids to negotiate, how solving the problems. We are used to a system that the teacher said what is good or what's wrong. The kids are not learned to choose or to negotiate between themselves. There's a big job to make in the schools to learn kids how to be responsible for the needs. Because when we have alternative form of solving the conflict, then we learn our needs, the other side needs, and then we are creative in inviting the solutions, yes? And this is the very important thing in the life. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Nagyon szépen köszönöm Alexandria Janusevics rettenetesen érzelemgazdag és impulzív előadását. Haladjunk tovább, nagyon várta már a megszólalás lehetőségét. Hajós Katalin, a Women in Leadership szakértője, a legjobb női munkahelypályázat bírálóbizottsági tagja az MNKS képviseletében. Tessék!
Nagyon érdekes gondolatokat hallottunk itt az előbb, de én egy kicsit földhöz ragadtabb leszek, és arról fogok beszélni, hogy a Magyar Női Karrierfejlesztési Szövetség már 2007 óta egy legjobb női munkahelypályázatot hirdetett. A kérdés csupán az, hogy kerülök én ennek a bírálóbizottságába. Andrea megkért, hogy egy kicsit beszéljek magamról, bár én azért nem vagyok egy ilyen nagyon magamutogatós típus, de ebből az alkalomból, hogy egy kis magyarázatot adjak erre, talán elmondhatok néhány mondatot. Egész életemben a médiában dolgoztam, a Burda magazinok bevezetését kezdtem el a 80-as években. Ezt ma úgy mondanánk, mint startup, akkor csak egy kezdővállalkozás volt. Aztán közel 20 évet dolgoztam egy nemzetközi médiaügynökség hálózatban, ahol egy 6 fős kis vállalkozásból egy 150 fős cég lett a vége, amikor elköszöntünk egymástól, mert jól megérdemelt, vagy meg nem érdemelt nyugdíjba mentem, és azóta viszont sokkal többet dolgozom. Például közreműködtem egy online rádiónak az indításában, a lányomnak a vállalkozását segítem, és egyáltalán azt szokták mondani rólam, hogy ahol 2 színtányért összeütnek, akkor ott vagyok. Ott vagyok tehát a legjobb női munkahelypályázat bírálóbizottságában is, amit 2007 óta működtetünk. Szó volt még a mai tanácskozásnak az elején, hogy kinek milyen szerepe lehet abban, hogy megtalálják a nők a sikert, a karriert és az egyensúlyt az életükben. Hát sok mindenkinek van szerepe ebben, például szerepe van az államnak is, ahogy ezt a Benede úrtól hallottunk, de az államnak csak annyi szerepe van, hogy megteremti ehhez a jogszabályi feltételeket és kereteket. De hogy aztán ezzel a munkáltatók hogyan élnek, az már egy más szintű felelősség. És főleg mit tehet ebben egy civil szervezet? Hát azt gondolom, hogy azt, amit mi teszünk 2007 óta, hogy minden évben pályázatot hirdetünk a legjobb női munkahely cím elnyeréséért. Nagyon sokféle szempont alapján ítéljük meg a pályázókat, akik 2 kategóriában jelentkezhetnek, a 250 munkavállalónál kevesebbet foglalkoztató, illetve többet foglalkoztatók, munkáltatók kategóriában. És hát az értékelési szempontok között ott van a tisztességes munkafeltétel, a karrier lehetőség, az előmenetel biztosítása a nőknek, az egészség és a jó közérzet megérzésének a feltételei, a készségfejlesztés lehetősége, a munka és magánélet egyensúlyának az összeegyeztethetősége. Ezek a szempontok, ezek mint szempontrendszer évek óta rendelkezésünkre állnak, és ezek alapján döntünk arról, hogy ki kapja meg a díjakat. Egy rettenetően nagy adatbázis áll már rendelkezésünkre, hiszen évente 50-60 jelentkező van a 2 kategóriában. Azt gondolom, hogy a jövő év arra fog minket ösztönözni, hogy egy picit változtassunk, vagy egészítsük ki ezeket a korábban említett szempontokat, hiszen végig kell gondolni, hogy az elmúlt fél év meg sajnálatos módon várhatóan a következő hónapok mennyiben fogják megváltoztatni a munkavállalók és a munkaadók egymáshoz való viszonyát, és hogy tudunk kisebb vagy nagyobb körökben, munkahelyeken olyan feltételeket teremteni, ami lehetővé teszi, hogy a nők egyszerre legyenek sikeresek a munkájukban, és sikeresek a családi életvitelében. Köszönöm szépen!
Köszönöm szépen Hajós Katalin előadását. Első kérdés. Hogyan lehet összehangolni a munkát és a magánéletet? Kinga?
Thank you very much. As I started in English, I will continue in English. Of course, for work-life balance, I'm glad that we use the term work and life balance and not work-family balance. And I would like to give just a very short explanation for that. And it was also mentioned, for example, by Alexandra, that even without a family, you need to have a balance in your life between work and life. I see some young people in the room, and maybe also some young people are watching our streaming. If you need to study, but you need to work besides that, of course, this also needs to be balanced. And I could continue with these examples. So first of all, I'm glad that we use this term, work-life balance. But of course, inside work-life balance, the work-family balance is also very, very important. How to achieve this? I would say one word, and if you want, I can give some explanation, and this is flexibility. I would really, I think that being flexible from all sides, from employers' sides, but also from my side, if I am an employee and I go to work, if I am flexible, I'm flexible at home, with my partner, with my husband, with the children also, because the children also need to be flexible, then this is how it can be achieved very shortly.
Azon gondolkodom közben, hogy a flexibilitás szónak mi lenne a helyes magyar megfelelője, de el vagyok bizonytalanodva, mert a flexibilis annál jobban, precízebben kifejezi szerintem mindennél, mint mire gondolunk. Rugalmas, teljesen rugalmas, flexibilis, minden irányból jövetmenet. Köszönöm szépen. Alexandra, ugyanez a kérdés. The same question. The question was, hogyan lehet összehangolni a munkát és a magánéletet?
There's no translation, but I guess I know the question. They say that multitasking is something that helps you in life, but and if you want to have your family life, your personal life, and your professional life, multitasking is a part of it. But what I took as advice, and I believe it's good. It's that you can use multitasking and it's useful, but also remember that be here and now with the contact with the person you are next to or with the things you do and with the contact with yourself is also very important. Doing many things in one time, it's sometimes necessary, of course, but and it can help you in professional life and in your family life, but also could be overwhelming. So, what is my tip for work-life balance is use the multitasking, but on the other hand, use your experience of the moment you are here and now, and then you are going to be good in it. When you are on a date, for example, with your husband, don't think about your kids at home. When you are at work, if you don't have to, don't think about your husband. Okay, now I'm joking about it, but when you do focus on what you're doing, you can experience it fully, and you can be good in it. And it's also the matter of family life, which now is consumed by media. Yes, we have parents who are not having any more contact with the kids because they're doing that. And imagine me talking to you and doing that. Yeah, that's difficult. Yes, I'm not in contact with you anymore, and that's make this what I'm doing less fulfilled and less full. Yeah. So
Yes.
multitasking, yes, it's good, but also experience the moment you are in your life.
Katalin? A próbálkozás vagy sikerült, vagy nem. Technikailag a mi kis csapatunk még nem kapta meg a csillagos ötöst.
Szóval én azt gondolom, hogy ez egy folyamatos erőfeszítés, ami mind a két fél szempontjából fontos, a munkáltató szempontjából is, és a munkavállaló szempontjából is. És egy állandó kihívás, mert hogy a munkaadó az meg akarja becsülni a munkatársát, stabilan meg akarja tartani, de akkor figyelembe kell vennie, hogy igenis vannak olyan időszakok az életében, amikor kevésbé...
Jó a mikrofon, csak rosszul tartja,
Rosszul
Katalin.
tartom.
Tehát
Jó.
valahogy bele kéne beszélni.
Igen. Szóval azt gondolom, hogy őszintének kell lenni egy munkáltatóval, és meg kell mondani azt, hogy most olyan időszak van az életemben, amikor a fókusz egy picit máshol van. De majd szólok akkor, amikor csak és kizárólag a munkára, vagy jobban a munkára fogok tudni koncentrálni, és hogyha az a munkáltató az megbecsüli a munkaerőt, akkor tudja, hogy ez egy átmeneti időszak, és azt is tudja, hogy ha nem becsüli meg, akkor elmegy, és neki sokkal, de sokkal többe fog kerülni, mert esetleg hirdetést kell feladnia, tanácsadót kell fölvennie, be kell tanítania, és sokkal többet veszít, mint hogy azt mondja, hogy rendben van, most egy kicsit kevesebb feladatot teszek a válladra, de meg akarlak tartani hosszú távon. És ettől a munkavállaló is jobban érzi magát, és jobban oda fogja tudni magát tenni a feladathoz.
Tehát több flexibilitás, több multitasking, de is egyediség, több őszintesség és kevesebb mobiltelefon. Ez volt az első kérdésre a válasz. Második kérdés. Milyen eszközökkel lehet elősegíteni a nők munkaerőpiaci aktivitását? Kinga.
Okay. If I translate it into English, what do we need for an employment growth, growth in female employment? Instead of what, I would also like to add, I'm always starting with these big circles and then coming to some concrete points. Whom do we need? Because I think we need men. So women need men to be there in order for them to be more active on the labor market. This is one point for the whom question. And then what do we need? In my presentation, I spoke about, really very shortly, about care services and how it is in our life cycle approach, how it is important not only to focus on small children, care for small children, but care in general. If it's needed for elderly or for a disabled family member, anyhow, these care services, that they should be affordable, it should be of good quality and reachable around you. I think this is what is needed.
És a kérdés ugyanaz Alexandrának is, közben figyelem, hogy ki hogy jegyzetel, ő is vastagított nyilakat rajzol irányba, mint én. Milyen eszközökkel lehet elősegíteni a nők munkaerőpiaci aktivitását?
Yes, I think first things we already talked about it. It's recognition of value of the work at home, because if we are not find that it's important, then it's also a work. Caring about family members who are disabled or who are old or they are sick or they are just infant, it's a big part of our economy. And if we underestimate it, then the labor market it's a very narrowed scene. So it's first things, and I agree totally with Kinga. We need a man who support us. There is an important issue that there is no conference like men, families, and careers, but that we still need to a bit fight for our place in this field. I think maybe it's not an obvious answer, but sharing the household, learning kids how to share the household, no matter if it's a boy or girl, it's a starting point, a little step, and very important. Because then we have a generation of the women and men who knows that it's a normal of these things, that we're sharing the things that we need at home to do. And yeah.
Thank you. Mondtam a férjemnek, hogy melegítse meg a kutyavacsoráját. Önállóan, mert nem érek haza a kutyavacsoráztatására. Úgyhogy ezen a csapáson haladunk mi is tovább. Katalin?
Azt hiszem, hogy a V4 országok egy picit előnyösebb helyzetben vannak a nők foglalkoztatását tekintve. A Kinga talán jobban ismeri ezeket a számokat, de hát azért történelmileg ebben a régióban mi mindig is dolgoztunk, mindig kétkeresős háztartások kellettek ahhoz, hogy a családok működni tudjanak, és azért ez a lecke még mindig itt van körülöttünk. Én azt gondolom, hogy a részmunkaidő, ami mondjuk Nyugat-Európában egy nagyon elterjedt és nagyon népszerű foglalkoztatási forma, ennek kellene megteremteni a jogi és anyagi lehetőségeit jobban, mint ahogy ez jelenleg rendelkezésre áll, mert annak aztán nincsen sok értelme, hogy valaki visszamegy 4 órába dolgozni, de az a kereset, amit megkap, az elmegy a közlekedésre, meg az ebédjére, mert hát eleve egy 4 órás munka ugye kevesebb jövedelmet jelent, de ugyanakkor arról is olvastam statisztikákat, hogy sokkal alacsonyabb bérezési sávba kerülnek azok, akik 4 órás vagy 6 órás munkát vállalnak. Tehát itt megint azt gondolom, hogy lenne valami állami felelősség, és lenne egy jó munkáltatónak saját felelőssége is.
Köszönöm szépen. Jön a harmadik kérdés, amit most más szempontból dicsérnék, mint az első körben, ugyanis jön egy eldöntendő kérdés. Tehát adott esetben a hölgyeknek elég azt mondaniuk, hogy igen vagy nem, ami jelentősen segíti az időben a haladást, de természetesen boldog lennék, ha ki is fejtenék, árnyalnák az álláspontjukat. A harmadik kérdés pedig a következő. A generációk közötti együttműködés elősegíti-e a család működését? Mondtam én, hogy könnyű kérdés lesz, vagy legalábbis szerintem ebben a körben mindenki nagyon hamar és egyszerűen tud rá válaszolni. Kinga?
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. I could maybe add to this. Coming from the Large Families Association, I think it is, I couldn't say anything else other than yes to this question. And sometimes when we say, maybe it's only in Hungarian, but when we say large family, people tend to confuse with extended family. Because we have these two different terms, large family meaning with many kids, but extended family meaning several generations, maybe not even in this ladder order, but to the side. Also, not exactly living together, but being together and helping one another. I think this is very, very important. And I'm not adding any other questions or nothing so big philosophy, just my own example. I am in a hurry because I am a godmother of my goddaughter who is here from Spain. She's Hungarian, she's living in Spain only for this week. Her birthday is today. I am giving the party, she's there in my house, and I need to go there. So this is also an example for, I hope, a well-working extended family and intergenerational support. Thank you.
Just some more minutes. Hamarosan a végére érünk a kérdésnek. Tehát a kérdés változatlan. Alexandra.
I think we can learn from experience from the other generation. That's the really good lesson that we have. And also we can learn from the mistake they made. That's a thing we can do, and it's kind of thing, it supports us in our work-life balance when we can look back and how our mothers and grandmothers' life looks like. But we live more and more in nuclear families. I would say the extended families are not anymore so popular. People are moving from town to town for a job, and the grandma who helping with kids is not so popular, maybe, or is less and less popular. And also is the question if it's so easy, for example, to asking a mother to take care of the grandkids. Sometimes it's really nice when grandma is spending time with the kids, because there is a research in Poland that shows that kids who have a contact with the grandmothers, especially grandmothers, that's surprising, not the grandfathers, there's much less addictions in this group of kids, because they give attention, they give their time, they commit. But from the other hand, sometimes grandmothers want to have the things that they think is good. And for example, mothers who tried their work-life balance, they want to go forward. They want to go with their needs, not the past generation need. What I think is also really important to take care of and create the programs for the regions, for the local societies, when we heritage the difficult examples. For example, the employment. This is also that we could be stopped by the new generation if we give a hand for the boys and girls who have such a family history, yes, and for generation they have like problems with having this work-life balance. Yeah.
Mégse annyira könnyű a kérdés, megismétlem utoljára. A generációk közötti együttműködést elősegíti-e a család működését? Katalin?
Hát erre nem lehet nemet mondani.
Tehát yes.
Igen, de ugyanakkor tényleg nem annyira egyszerű a dolog, mert lehetne azt gondolni, hogy persze ott van a nagymama, aztán vigyázzon a gyerekekre is, hogyha egyformán gondolkodunk a gyereknevelésről, hű de jó. De az én generációm azért hiába nagymama, még aktívak vagyunk, és ahogy a társadalom idősödik, egyre tovább maradunk aktívak, és az az időszak, amikor az unokáknak szükségünk van rá, az is mondjuk egy 10-12 éves periódus, és utána még mindig tudunk aktívak lenni, és mindig tudunk ezen a családon kívül is hasznos tagjai és aktív tagjai lenni a társadalomnak. Tehát azért ezt érdemes lenne egy picit más oldalról is körbejárni.
Következő alkalommal mindenképpen meg fogjuk tenni. Köszönöm szépen Jó Kingának, Alexandra Janusevicsnek és Hajós Katalinnak, hogy megosztották velünk a gondolataikat, és nem tudom, hogy nagykövet úrnak eljött az ideje. Andrea, te időd jött el? Ferenci Andrea elnök